Calling all dreamers, this is the moment magic is made for. It's one of the opening lines of the song, and it couldn't be more true when we look at Magic Happens and how it relates to Disneyland 2020. Magic Happens is, well, how do I put this? To be honest, it's very gay. And I mean that in the best way possible. Gay in the way where we now have a park that celebrates LGBTQ community 2 days out of every year. And even goes as far as to make rainbow-themed Pride merchandise, making your Pride officially official. Magic Happens is a contemporary work of art, reflecting the people that attend Disneyland in 2020. Disneyland is your land, which back in 1955 was mostly white America. But today, my proud home of Southern California is a beautiful melting pot of all peoples and all orientations. Disneyland has always encouraged children of all ages to get lost in the magic and let your childlike enthusiasm be your compass for the day. Disneyland now represents that diversity in its entertainment offerings, the cast members that it hires, and Magic Happens seizes this moment in time. The 2020 show is a long way away from Mickey's Soundsational Parade, the show that it replaces. Mickey's Soundsational Parade ran from 2011 till the end of 2019. For 8 years, it brought traditional Disneyland vibe to the park, focusing heavily on the Disney Renaissance, celebrating The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. Magic Happens celebrates diversity, but also a mirror to the folks lining up on Main Street, USA for this street party. This is the moment magic is made for. It's one of the opening lines of the song, and it couldn't be more true when we look at Magic Happens and how it relates to Disneyland 2020. The show opens with a powerful first number, composed of 6 women and 5 male dancers. Each female cast member is dressed entirely different than the other, making their male counterparts feel more outnumbered and taking a back seat, blending in the background while the women look more walking down the runways of Paris Fashion Week instead of walking down Main Street, USA. Their outfits are outrageous in the most fierce way, with each one looking different than the other and wearing crazy headgear. It says early, you're gonna see something different today. Quickly, they set the tempo with enough enthusiasm and passion to set the tempo for the entire 18-minute parade. This section of the parade feels way more like RuPaul's Drag Race than it does a Disneyland parade, and I'm all about it. The first character float that we see outside of Mickey Mouse and the Fab Five, Moana takes us from the club-like atmosphere established from the opening number and sets a sail to a pop music tone, led by 6 female dancers in a more traditional parade costume. These ladies are like waves in the sea of change. Moana's float is massive in scale, which is a big theme for Magic Happens. We see Disneyland reset our expectations on what can be possible for a parade float. Moana's vehicle has video boards embedded in the waves pushing her down the parade route. Maui is possibly the most impressive sculpted character in the entire parade due to his enormous scale. Once again, we see Disneyland norms change when a character covered with tattoos, waving at children who are in awe of seeing this character come to life via Disney magic. One of the biggest wins of Magic Happens from every thematic way possible is Coco's section. Not only does this section of the parade really kick in the street party atmosphere, but it celebrates the Latino community that not only makes up a huge portion of Southern California citizens, but a very sizable portion of the citizens of Disneyland. In California, Mexico is our good neighbor. Her influence can be seen and celebrated everywhere you look. Coco is once again a mirror to the people that are lining up and down Main Street to watch Magic Happens. The float brings imagination, culture, heritage, and history to our SoCal Latino pride. The costumed dancing characters reinforce the outrageous nature of Magic Happens. Not to mention this guy. How cool is this? Maybe I need to watch the movie. Probably for me, the biggest disappointment was the Frozen section. I'm not sure what's up with these dancers that feel like a leftover squad from Oogie Boogie's Bash. This section also suffers that Into the Unknown isn't the hit that Let It Go is. And I'm not ready to let it go. Still not ready to let it go. I love that song. The club version from Mickey's Mixed Magic makes me want to rip off my shirt, jump on a Disneyland garbage can, and start go-go dancing. That's never going to happen. Just if anybody's watching this, that's never going to happen. But it does make me want to tap my foot. but Into the Unknown falls a little flat for me, and it takes the tempo down yet another notch, which had already changed for the Mexican-inspired sounds of Coco. To me, this middle number is the dead spot in the parade. But on the very bright side, the Frozen float is massive in its scale, truly an epic vehicle. To see it working its way down Main Street is very impressive, maximizing what can probably take turns around the hub and town square. I'll say this, Magic Happens better not run during Halloween or the holidays, because there's no way Garland will go across Main Street when this beast has to make its way up and down the street twice a day. But it does glow and make it snow, and says goodbye with what feels like a massive animatronic. I want to stress, this is my least favorite part of the parade, and it's not a total failure, it's pretty good. But if that's the worst that you have to offer, you're doing pretty well. As the finale approaches, we see a trio of smaller scenes roll by, giving a nod to history, nostalgia, and cult favorites. Cinderella, the dark horse that no one saw coming, Sword in the Stone, and The Princess and the Frog. Sword in the Stone must have a live-action film coming to plant it inside of this parade, which Disney is hoping can go the long haul. And now it's the awkward part of the video when you review things. Well, it's your responsibility to be honest and to always give your real and unfiltered opinion. So now I'm going to say what you're not supposed to say as a white guy. Got your attention? But someone has to say it out loud, because I'm sure many of you have said it inside your mind. Hey Disney, let's make a couple of more movies centered around black characters, so we don't always have to pull Princess and the Frog out to remind everyone about that one time that we tried. I'm just saying, it's about time. And don't take white characters and recolor them. Give us new faces, take us to new places, tell new stories, take us on new adventures, and you'll see the rewards like you did with Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Where were we at after that rant? Sleeping Beauty, our grand finale, and oh is she grand. Sleeping Beauty is led by a squadron of women wearing a military meets fashion costume. And I love it. It's strong, it's bold, it's fierce, with a little dash of feminine elegance. This is so different from the parades of the past, where every woman in the parade was forced to wear nude and color hose because, heaven forbid, you see the skin tone of their legs, but let's make sure that that skirt is as short as possible. This squadron of women sets a strong tone for the present and future of women. Before we say goodbye to the past, where women in films were waiting around for a prince to kiss them and to save the day and make all their worries go away. The Sleeping Beauty float is great. Decorated in a very Mary Blair way, has callbacks to Mickey Sorcerer Hat in the opening float, a dress that changes colors, always a fan of a dress that changes colors, and best of all, the soundtrack switches over to a remix of the Magic Happens theme that sounds like something from the 1989 era of Taylor Swift, her best era that she will never get back to. Where once again, like Paint the Night Parade, my favorite parade, we see an opening and closing song very similar in theme, very similar in beat and tone, with a slight difference in messaging. Hello, we're here, we're gonna have a good time. Wasn't this great? Can't wait to see it again. My thoughts on the Magic Happens parade. I would like to see this parade at night. Under the cloak of darkness, you could actually make magic happen. When this was announced at D23, my expectations were each float would have a magic moment, where Disneyland magic would make something appear in front of our eyes. Now, I can't let this parade be a letdown, because Disney didn't know what my daydreams were, Disney didn't know my expectations. But that being said, I was hoping and anticipating a little bit more of magic. And I do have to say, as much as I enjoyed this parade, and I did enjoy it, it didn't have that emotional beat for me, which is something that I always look for in Disney live entertainment offerings. That emotional beat is something that I really enjoy about Disneyland shows. Magic Happens is a daytime parade, and it feels like a daytime parade. It feels more aligned with its predecessor, Mickey Soundsational or the Pixar Play Parade that happened over in DCA. Then it feels connected to my personal favorite, Paint the Night Parade, or the perennial classic, Main Street Electrical Parade. In fact, I would say Magic Happens is the bridge between those four parades. And that's where it sits on my list, in the middle of all of those parades that I just discussed. I would say make sure to plan it into your next Disneyland trip. And be warned, The soundtrack is contagious. In much respect to the Magic Happens team for creating a park experience that is properly set in this time in Disneyland's history. How will this parade hold up in the long and rich history of Disneyland? Well, no one knows. But I do see it as one of those things that is a reflection of the time that it was created. And when we look back at Disney's rich and wild history, sometimes those things are the most magical to us because it looks just like the time that it represented. And that's where I see magic happening, existing in the long, rich history of Disney. This parade is made for 2020, and it feels like the time and place and people of 2020. This parade is for anyone and everyone that goes to Disneyland, that gets caught in the beat and wants to just have fun for 15 minutes on the parade route. But this parade is a big win for those that in the past may have not felt represented by the entertainment offerings and the characters that they saw in the park. And even though I don't fall into that last category, this win isn't lost on me. In fact, I can't even express how happy it makes me to know that everyone can see themselves in this parade. Just last week I was at Disneyland and I saw a young boy, probably 8 years old, dressed like a princess from head to toe, waiting to ride Star Tours. It made me so excited that he felt comfortable to share whatever it is that he wanted to share with all of us. And he did it at Disneyland. A place where dreams do come true, magic happens, and people are allowed to be who they want to be. This parade is a win for that little boy in particular, and little girls and little boys that grew up to be men and women that have felt this way. That's the big magic that happens with the Magic Happens Parade. Hey friends, thank you so much for watching my review of the Magic Happens Parade. If you go see it, let me know what you think. Is this parade for you? Did I hit on some of the things that you were feeling about? What did you see about the parade that I wasn't able to capture in this quick video? And hey, do you know when YouTube magic happens? YouTube magic happens when you comment, like, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. Help me grow this. Help me realize that all this hard work is paying off by knowing that you're in this with me. Until the next time I see you friends, don't forget, live the magic every single day. And thank you Disney for making magic happen, and thank you for representing everyone in this culturally diverse parade that is a great indication of where we're headed in 2020.